The Oregon Ducks are going to have a new quarterback in 2025, along with a new starting running back, 3 new wide receivers, a new tight end, and 4 new offensive linemen. But George Wrighster is unafraid, which makes sense since he's the host of the Unafraid Show. I am Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian, OregonLive, back covering the Ducks after spending the past 5 years covering the Blazers. Welcome to the Ducks Confidential podcast. I roped in my main man, George Wrighster, to host this show with me for the foreseeable future until I drive him crazy and he runs away crying because he just can't deal with the heat. No response to that? Okay, no response to that. All right. In case
listen. Hey, what did they say? You just don't pay attention to nonsense, man. So I'm not.
You're just gonna brush it off.
My grandma would say, I'm not gonna let you get my blood pressure worked up.
Okay, I have all season to get there. Okay, we did our first podcast ever on the defense primarily. You can find that on OregonLive, so either on wherever you get your podcast or on our OregonLive Oregonian YouTube channel. This one is going to focus on the offense as we're previewing fall camp, which just started last week. And boy, George, we talked about how the defense had a lot of bodies to replace. My goodness, the offense. I'm going to say this right now. Last year, going to last season, I was like, no team in program history had ever won a conference title after having to replace their quarterback, top running back, and top receiver. And the Ducks went out and did it. Okay. But they did so with a 6th-year quarterback in his 5th year as a starter, which is pretty much an unheard of thing because you're not supposed to be able to play that long. That was pandemic related. But now you're in a situation where you have to replace your top quarterback, your top receiver, because your true top receiver's hurt in Everett Stewart, and you got to replace your top running back, which I think they did a good job with. But that's a lot to deal with, but you're not worried. Just give me your big overview of why you think this offense is going to be A-OK.
Number one, they upgraded at running back.
Okay.
Upgraded at running back. And
their
last running back,
from
Jones.
Tulane. Okay.
Yes,
right.
Yes. Running back last year, Mr. JJ. He was solid. Didn't have home run speed. Caught the ball okay. I mean, it was a major downgrade last year from Bucky. And that's
Irving.
a whole nother story because Bucky wanted to come back, but that's a whole nother story. We won't even get into that. Actually, I'll probably tell that story at some point in time, and that had to do with a soft batch cookie coach who's now over at Ohio State. So he's the reason why Bucky didn't come back. So everybody knows, because Bucky did want to come back, but it turned out that he's having a pretty good career down with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. So it might have been the best decision for himself, but it wasn't necessarily the best decision for the Ducks, even though they went 13-0. But still, I do like the obviously Mekhi Hughes, the kid from Tulane, excellent player. You got Noah Whittington back. And you got Riggs, who I know that they love, and Jaden Lamar as well. So there are a lot of options. And then Jay Harris they said that he got his head screwed on straight now, too. So this is going to be a very deep backfield, very competitive backfield. And you have a bell cow, which is special, like a guy that if somebody is unblocked, you won't get a loss. You will end up for, a half-yard gain, 1-yard gain. And sometimes he's going to step out and make some special plays. And that's what you need at the running back position. Because last year I thought there were too many shoestring tackles that Bucky would have broken. And there weren't enough big plays in the run game, partially because the running back position was not special. It was solid. It just wasn't special.
Okay, let's stick with the running backs there since you took a deep dive there. Hughes rushed for 2,779 yards over 2 seasons, 22 touchdowns, 5.3 yards per carry. Clearly going up a level in competition, but he's also going to have a way better offensive line. Right. And, I'm not going to sit and say I studied a bunch of tape on him, but, I watched his highlight reel in which everyone looks good in their highlight reel. I think you might even look good in your highlight reel, right? Back in the day when you were playing tight end. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure a guy that was projected as a second round draft pick, probably highlight reel looks pretty special.
I gotta learn not to set you up to brag about yourself. Anyway, so what you're saying is that as good as James was, he just on Madden he'd be an 80, whereas Hughes is more of a 90.
Jordan James. I called him Jones earlier. See, they'll let you know how special that he wasn't because I called Jordan James.
Don't diss the kid. He had a great year for this.
No.
Come on, he had a great year. Come on.
He did have a solid year. I'm not. I appreciate everything the kid did. He's a good football player. Hope things work out for him with the San Francisco 49ers. I said he was a good football player. He just wasn't special. Those two different things.
Okay. So Hughes, you think is going to be special. So when you say special, what are we talking here? Are we talking, at least 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns? Is he going to get those kind of touches, or just special in the fact that he's going to be able to make more out of nothing and make bigger plays out of what would have been just good plays?
Yes. Okay. Yes. That's what I mean by special. That the floor is raised. We should see more tackles stepped out of. We should see more defenders missed. We should see those sorts of things. That's when you know a back is special, when unblocked guys don't have a chance. And when you are able to, when there's nothing there, and then you're like, God dang, they got him. And then, it's fourth and one, they stuck. Oh, never mind. God dang it, he barely got that first down. We almost had him. That's a special running back.
Okay. And then behind him, you just mentioned Noah. It seems to me like just having a veteran guy like that who he can start and be productive. Again, probably closer to James than Hughes, but clearly a guy who can make plays, and he can help Hughes along, probably help him learn the offense, and he gives you some good security right there, right?
Yep, 100%. He's played in some big games, had some special moments, and you want to see him touch the ball, but you got to be excited about Riggs and Lamar as well, because one of those two is going to get some significant amount of touches as well.
That's what I was going to ask you. So behind Whittington, you got, this depth chart, which is projected one. You got Jay Harris, Lamar, you got Riggs, Davison, Dare Hill Jr., that's 5 cats, all recruited by Oregon, obviously, so they're all pretty talented. Which one do you think is going to be the one that's going to push Whittington for backup carries and be the guy who could take over next year? Because if Hughes has a great year, he's going pro.
Yeah. Riggs.
Riggs is your guy? Why?
My money's on Riggs.
And why?
Because when he got a chance last year, he flashed. He flashed on the field. But his blocking is going to have to improve, because if you want to be the starting running back in college football, you have to be able to block. And that means, because your blocking goes for, especially in college when they do so many fly sweeps, wide receiver motion, handoffs to other people and all that stuff, your running backs have to be able to block. And they have to be willing blockers and good in the pass protection as well. So I think Riggs probably has the most juice with the ball in his hands. I think Davidson probably needs another offseason to get the baby fat off and to be a chisel machine, because he looks more like Jonah Coleman body-wise from Washington last year than what you would normally and then you're going to be, what they said to Jonah Coleman this year is, hey, man, you got to get in a little bit better shape. And he went and did it, and I think that's what you're going to see out of Jordan Davison in the next year.
Okay, let's shift to tight end real quick, because this is
and just for everybody who doesn't know, he's a kid who just checked in January. He was top 300 recruit out of Mater Dei.
Okay, so that's an easy one. Tight end to me seems relatively easy as well, because we all saw the potential of Kenyon Sadiq, and the fact that Dan Lanning took him to Big Ten Media Days told you a lot, because usually you're taking a proven guy or quarterback or running back, something like that. He took a guy who was a backup tight end. We all saw what he did in the Big Ten championship game against Penn State. This guy has elite talent, NFL talent. And hold on, and Lanning said straight up, he's a star. Like, he may not be a star in terms of what we know about him. He's like, we see him every day. We know what this kid can do. And then he told a story about he was playing NCAA college football with his youngest son. And I think his son was using Oregon, and he said Sadiq was just killing him. So not that video games mean everything, but clearly this guy has some talent. So go ahead, break it down. Since you know a little bit about tight ends.
Kenyon Sadiq. Mm-hmm. Kenyon Sadiq is the most athletic tight end to ever play at Oregon.
Ever?
Even over Colt.
And Dixon?
Ever.
Colt?
Ever. Yes.
Dante Rosario?
More than Colt, because I would put Colt at number 1.
Cole was ridiculous.
In terms of
Yeah.
athleticism.
Yeah.
I would put Colt at number one in terms of just pure athleticism. But this kid he looks like he was created in a video game. Like when you put all the sliders up, that's him. He's too fast for his position. He's too strong for his position. He's a willing blocker. He finishes blocks. He's crazy athletic. He catches the ball well. He will be the first tight end drafted in next year's draft. No question.
Really? One more season and done for him, huh? That's it?
Oh yeah. He's
too
out
good,
of here, bro. He is out of here. Provided he stays healthy. Hope you enjoyed the show. This is a George Wrighster special. This is a play. This is a play behind, Justin Peele / oh my God, Terrence Ferguson. And then
Justin Herbert.
do your thing the next year and get up out of there.
You said Justin Peele.
Yeah.
You're talking about you.
I was with Peele. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about yourself. Oh, you brought yourself into this equation again. Okay.
I was saying it's the same type of situation where you had an established veteran in front of you, like I had with Peele and what he had with Terrence Ferguson. And then the next year you get your opportunity and sayonara, buddy.
You bust out. But you were out of eligibility though, right? Weren't you? That was your senior year?
No, I was not.
That was in your senior year?
I was a junior.
You were a junior?
Yeah, I was a junior, sir.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
All right. I stand corrected.
Come on.
Anyway.
I was one of the first early enrollees out of like guys to declare early. Just saying.
Okay. My bad. I won't make that mistake again. So Kenyon, like I said, was at Big Ten Media Days, and I know he's talked about this in the past, but I asked him about the fact that he's a classic example of a guy who could have been like, man, I'm tired of sitting behind these guys, man. I'm a transfer, go somewhere else where I can be a star. He even said it was a little tough, to maybe not do that, but he decided, no, I'm learning from Terrence, I'm learning from Herbert. This is a good place for me to be. And now, as a third-year guy who's paid his dues and knows this system like the back of his hand, and he's put on 10 to 12 good pounds, he said it was going to make him a better blocker in the box, obviously. He feels like he's ready to do what you just said he's going to do, is bust out. But is he going to be polished enough as a blocker to not hurt them at all in the running game? Do you think he's fixed that? Like, is that an area?
When you watch him on film, he finishes blocks. He finishes, as coaches say, to the echo of the whip. He's pushing guys out of bounds, dumping them, everything else. His motor is on max.
So that would be a yes.
His motor is the type of motor. So when you hear coaches describe football players, it's one of the most racist things that you will ever see. They will be like, "Oh my God, look at that guy. He's a high effort, high energy guy." And all of the high effort, high energy guys, they just so happen to be white, even if they're crazy athletic. And then black guy, oh my God, check out that athleticism and
he's got the quick
traits.
The quick twitch. Sorry, the quick twitch.
Yes, exactly. It's the most ridiculously. It is just like when Christian McCaffrey was coming out. I was doing a show on the draft.
Right.
This man tried to, because I compared him to Marshall Faulk and to LaDainian Tomlinson. Yeah. Yes. And they were like, and the dude was like, no way, this is Toby Gerhart 2.0. I was like, what? Toby Gerhart was Mike Allstott.
Right.
Toby Gerhart? Can you not see that the dude is white, please? And watch the actual football player?
Yeah. 100%. All right. So what about the depth there? What about the depth of tight end? Now, they went out and got the kid from Louisville, right?
Jamari Johnson. Inglewood's finest.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you feel good about him? Clearly, it's a guy from Louisville. He played. Yes. I think he played 12 games over 2 years. Didn't produce a lot, but he's a good veteran guy.
He will be more of what Kenyon Sadiq was last year.
Okay.
So he will get a chance to catch a few balls here and there, and then move into that seat for next year.
Okay.
So he will be a solid player, but honestly, it's going to be that third one, whether if Vander Plug or 80 83, Salapaga, if he's able to come in and be that third tight end in short yardage situations, goal line situations, and all of that, that's going to be the difference, or whether they have to use an extra tackle in those situations.
All right, let's shift to the O-line. Now, normally you lose 4 starters, you're ringing the alarm bells. That's difficult to pull off.
Yes.
Right? But again, we talked about in the age of the transfer portal, what Oregon did, not just getting guys who can play, but getting veteran dudes. Emmanuel Pregnon, right? 6th-year senior from USC.
Started. He was USC's best defensive. He was USC's best offensive lineman last year.
Isaiah World at left tackle, probably, right? He started from Nevada.
Yep, from Nevada. Yep.
Pregnon's going to be maybe left guard. And then you got right guard Matthew Bedford, a 7th-year senior from Indiana.
Yeah,
and then,
he was there last year too, and the year before.
And then Alex Harkey, a 6th-year senior from Texas State. So that is, hold on, that's like 20 years of experience for those 4 combined, counting their red shirts. But still, that's a lot of experience. That's a lot of experience to bring in on an offensive line.
Experienced offensive lines are good offensive lines.
Exactly, because they're not having to relearn every little nuance of every little thing you're supposed to do, and when the defense shifts and blah blah blah. Yep. All of them are going to look at everything like, yeah, I've seen that before 1,000 times. The only question is, can they gel? But again, the gelling is going to be easier when no one really has to learn the basics, or even 200 level. They're all 400 level. They're all almost master level in terms of what their experience has produced for them. So if ever there's going to be a seamless transition for an offensive line that lost 4 starters, it's going to be this group. And they're going to be led by a guy in the middle, Iapane Lalaulu. Is that right? Is the lone returning starter in the middle who's going to be orchestrating and organizing everything. So it's almost the perfect situation if ever there was
don't forget about
when you lose 4 starters.
Dave Iuli too. He could be a name that him and Fox Crater, they could both. Well, they're both going to see significant snaps too, I think.
Okay. And what years are they? I don't have my depth chart over here.
Iuli's a junior, I think, either a redshirt sophomore or a junior, and then Fox Crater is a redshirt freshman.
Crater is a redshirt freshman, and the other one you said was who?
Iuli.
Dave Iuli.
Dave Iuli.
Redshirt junior. Okay.
Yeah, he's either a redshirt freshman or a redshirt sophomore or a junior.
Okay, so now we praised, the transfer portal free agency with Dan Lanning. That's been a thing since he's been here, and they clearly did a great job this offseason. But what does it say about the younger cast they've recruited who've been passed over for these recruits? Are they still just maturing and they're not there yet? Or are there some problems there? They're going to have to reload this thing again next year.
Oh, see, this is where your recruiting matters the most, is on the offensive and the defensive lines, because you have to build your pipelines there. It's like building your farm system in baseball. You have to get depth and depth and depth, because they normally take longer times to be ready to go. There's only so many times that you're going to get a Panay Sewell that's going to be a starter as a true freshman.
Right.
I mean, Josh Connerly was a first round draft pick, and he didn't even start as a true freshman. So linemen typically take a year to 2 years to bake and develop. So you got to get your pipeline down, and they're starting to get more and more of that pipeline built. But until you get the full pipeline built, you may have to take a transfer or 2 in the transfer portal. So I actually expect them to be back in the transfer portal next year, probably for 1, maybe 2 offensive linemen, but hopefully only needing 1.
Okay. Well, as long as you can get them, it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, as long as you're putting some big bodies up there to get it done,
that's all that
doesn't matter.
You just don't want to have to depend on that every single year, and it takes 3, 4, 5 years for you to be able to fully get that entire pipeline to where you don't need to go into the portal,
right. Especially for 4 guys. 1 or 2, fine, but 4,
yeah,
that might be unsustainable, but we'll see. All right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you don't really want to be going into the portal for offensive linemen, because that's a dangerous game. So you really want to be solidified from your pipeline, from your farm system, from your recruiting on the defensive line and the offensive line for the most part.
All right, shifting to wide receiver. So in 2014, the Ducks returned their lowest level of returning wide receiver production since the 90s. And I think the leading receiver coming back was Keenan Lowe at like 200-something yards. And that was after they lost Braylon Addison. Remember, he blew out his knee in spring of 2014, right?
Yep.
So you had Carrington, you had Byron Marshall moved from running back to receiver. You had Lowe, you had Devin Allen, you had a bunch of young cats. Right, and a running back playing a receiver ended up being your top receiver, and Marcus wins the Heisman. Marcus Mariota wins the Heisman. So this year, similar situation in that you lost Evan Stewart to injury,
except for this,
just like Braylon Addison, and you lost Tez.
This wide receiver crew is much more talented.
Okay. We'll get to that. Lost Ted Johnson, and you lost Trayshawn Holden, and you lost Ferguson. So you lost your top 4 targets, but at wide receiver we're talking about right now. So a lot of concerns going into 2014 with what was going to happen, but you knew you had some dudes who just weren't proving yet. And it sounds like that's the same thing this time, but you're saying this group was better than that group in 2014 because that was a pretty good group.
Yes, but there weren't any NFL guys in that group.
True.
There are NFL guys in this group. That's what I think the difference is when I say that they're better.
Okay.
DeCorian Moore, we will start there. True freshman. He will start and he will play. Significant. He will catch a lot of balls. He will be special. The only way the Ducks could be in a better spot is if they had been able to hold on to Dallas Wilson, who committed to him, signed with him last year, and then some kind of way, like 3, 4, 5 days later, was at Florida. That's the only way this wide receiver crew could be in better shape, because that kid, Dallas Wilson at Florida, wait till y'all see him play. He is going to be a problem. But Lord have mercy.
Is he Jeremiah Smith? Jeremiah Smith level?
Possibly. It's that serious.
Okay, so
it's that serious.
Okay, so where's DeCorian in terms of comparing him to a Jeremiah Smith? Obviously, size difference.
He's not physically as imposing. Yeah. He would be more like Okay. The best way to explain
more like a
Jamar
Chase.
I'm gonna go with a guy that was on Oregon's team last year, an upgraded version of Tez Johnson.
Okay.
Because he's faster, he's more physical, but he's twitchy like that. But he's not as experienced as Tez was. So there are going to be some moments where, him and the quarterback got to figure it out and all that stuff, particularly in the beginning of the season. So that's where I see him. I see him as an upgraded version of Tez Johnson, a bigger, faster version with the same level of quickness.
So you think he's going to be number one receiver, the top receiver?
I hope he doesn't have to be.
Right.
I hope it's Gary Bryant Jr.
6th-year senior, USC kid, right?
USC transfer. Yeah. So I'm hoping that it's going to be one of those. And then you have veteran guys at this point who haven't really played that much, but physically are special, like Jurion Dickey. He's a monster. He looks like a damn tight end almost.
He looks like Jeremiah, right? But a little shorter, but that kind of big physicality. And he hasn't played primarily because of injuries. He's not a talent bust. He's an injury situation.
Yeah, correct. Right. And then you return Justice Lowe, who's a good wide receiver. Dylan Gresham has been doing a good job, who's a redshirt freshman. And then a true freshman another true freshman that you might see play some a decent amount is Cooper Perry, white kid out of Arizona. He got some juice. And then there is Jeremiah McClellan, who played a little bit last year as well. And then the Florida State transfer, Malik Benson. But I would not expect too much out of Benson. Expect what you saw out of Justice Lowe last year out of Malik Benson.
Did you mention Casper? Kyler Casper?
No, I did not mention.
6'5" wide receiver. He looks like he could be a starter. You don't like him? Come on, give him some love.
I'm going off of what I have heard
Okay.
from things. He's been mentioned slightly, but not
not
as
as
like,
highly.
oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So, look, I'm not going to say these kids can't play, but as we segue into quarterback, I'm going to make this point. As of right now, what I will say is that I do not believe this team is going to contend for a national title. I do think they can make the playoffs. Hold on, let me finish.
I love it. Come on.
Let me finish. I got layers. This is Spock playing 3D chess. Just let me finish. Again, I gotta see what they look like in the first 3 games. That's your preseason, right?
Yeah.
So as of right now, though, when I look at a situation where you potentially could have your top receiver could be a true freshman, and then you got a bunch of unproven guys who, like in 2014, they blossomed, right? But in 2014, they blossomed with that dude at quarterback who we knew was that dude. Whereas this time, you're looking at a completely not unknown, but a wild card situation at quarterback. So if I'm placing a bet either way, I can't at this moment, I'm not saying I won't later, but I can't at this moment say that quarterback and all these young receivers are going to come together at the same time to be a team that can actually contend for the national title. I just don't see that happening. I'll give them time. I'm not declaring it's not going to happen yet, but I have concerns here. And before we turn to you, let's go to Moore. So Moore, look, I'm all about guys developing and guys maturing and guys getting better. I hate it when someone has a bad season and then people pile on them like they're not going to grow and develop. I can't stand that. But Moore at UCLA, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 53% completion percentage against Coastal Carolina, San Diego State, and NC Central. He threw 7 touchdowns with 1 pick at 63%. That means against Pac-12 competition, 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 51% completion rate. So we're asking him to make a huge leap from that because that's not good at all. And that's bad all the way to taking a team with young receivers into the net. No, I just don't buy it. I got to see a lot from Dante Moore and the receivers before I believe for a second they can pull that off. Now you go.
Well, first of all, you got to assume that Dante's going to start.
Ooh.
I do believe that he will ultimately end up being the starter for game 1, but I would not be surprised if they start one game, and then or Austin Novosad game
okay,
2.
then
I
you're
would
really
not
done.
be surprised.
Then you're really done. Then you really got no shot.
No,
you're not.
no.
If you got two quarterbacks, you don't have one.
No, that's not true. That's definitely not true.
I don't actually 100% believe in that, but it's been proven true. Whenever the Ducks have gone that route, it hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out.
Here is where that statement is typically true, right? If you can't decide, like if you don't have a clear-cut starter, if you're just kind of dealing with 2, I don't know, options, then yes, you do not have a quarterback. Quarterback math is typically 1 + 1 = 0. But in this case, I do believe that both of these kids are I do believe that between the 2 of them, you for sure have one quarterback. You see what I'm saying? That one of them is special. I can't guarantee that both of them are special, but one of the 2 of them is special. Finding out which one it's going to be is going to be the question. So you could see a switch at quarterback at some point in time this season. Do not put that out of the realm of possibility. But I do believe that they have one special quarterback out of the 2 of them.
You think one will emerge,
and
one way or the other. One's going to emerge as the guy, and then the other one.
Yes,
and the other one's
and not just the guy, but a special guy.
The other guy's going to transfer next year
because Dante.
And the other guy will transfer next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless if it's Dante and Dante kills it, Dante may very, very well just go to the NFL because his measurables, and when you watch him throw the football, he is one of the best kids I've ever seen that's a non-professional throwing the football. But mind you, that's not playing football. Those 2 separate things. And when he was at UCLA, if I've had a chance to talk to him, he was like, bro, I didn't have no business starting. Right. He was like, I went to UCLA to start, but I thought it was going to be different. You know what I mean? You know, you are a high school hot shot and you like, bro, I know how this is going to be.
You're going to come in and dominate, blah, blah, blah. I know.
Yeah, and then you get slapped in the face with a cold hard dose of reality. And then also his mom got sick with cancer at the beginning of that football season. He was away from home. He shouldn't have been starting. The protection was atrocious at UCLA, and he didn't handle it well as well. So all of those factors went along. But when you watch the film, he did do some nice things at UCLA.
He did. He's got a good arm,
He
man.
did. And he also did a bunch of not nice things.
Right, what you expect.
So for him, it is all between the ears. If the mind is right, oh God, Lord have mercy, he will be on the Heisman stage
this year.
But as far as Austin, yes.
Oh God.
No, if his mind is right, because if you look at what the Oregon quarterbacks have done the last 2 years, both of them were Heisman finalists. Dante Moore is more talented than both of them. This is the thing I'm saying, Aaron. I'm not guaranteeing he's going to be on the Heisman stage or anything like that. But as far as pure talent, we're talking about like him, Bo Nix, and Dylan Gabriel. One of these things is not like the other talent-wise.
I don't disagree, but those two guys were fifth-year starters, and one was a sixth-year senior. They shouldn't even been playing. Those pandemic quarterbacks the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You cannot discount. You cannot discount that experience level.
Hold on. Yes, but he also, but it's not like he's coming in fresh off the boat either. He started an entire freshman year, sat and learned for a year, played a little bit. And now he's coming into this season, so it's not like starting a true freshman. This is somebody who's played basically 12 games already.
He's not going to be in the Heisman.
At one school, played 4 games last year for Oregon, a little bit, and mop up duty for the most part. So he's not green. And he practiced with the team. He's not breaking in a new offense or a new offensive coordinator. So I agree about the 6-year senior thing, but it's different.
Okay, you might be right. Like I said, we got listen. I've gone and I've watched a lot of film, and I found all 22 even of them against Washington State, I think. And it's a game where he wasn't great, but man, some of the throws he made were absolutely elite. Like there's just no doubt about that. And everyone knows quarterback isn't about how well you can throw. You got to be able to do all the other things, read the defense, make decisions, blah blah blah. But when he made the right decision and he had even small windows to get the ball through there, he made some beautiful throws. And maturity is a part of the whole process. So I do believe he's going to be way better than he was his true freshman year. I'm not buying for a second he's going to be on the Heisman stage this first year. I don't believe that at all. But hey, after 3 weeks, after if they go to Penn State and they win, they're 5-0.
The Heisman works,
I understand how it works. I'm just saying as of right now,
it is not always the best player who gets the Heisman. If Oregon starts out the season 4-0 and he beats Penn State, he's going to have a very good chance to be a Heisman finalist. That's what I'm saying. If
he's got the numbers. I just said if they're 5-0, because Penn State's week 5, right?
Yeah, but it's the 4th game.
It's their 4th. Okay, so they're 4-0 with a win at Penn State. He goes into Penn State and kills it. Then his name's going to be mentioned on the list of Heisman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just, as of right now, I'm saying nah. Not going to happen. Yeah.
And I'm looking at it in totality. If Oregon finishes 11-1 or 10-2 with the right wins, he's going to have a chance to be a Heisman finalist. Okay. Like just the way the Heisman Trophy works. Because if they're 11-1, they're going to be a top 5 team. Then and a top 5 team, their quarterback had to play well enough for them to be 11-1. So then he's probably going to be a Heisman finalist. Is my point.
I mean, Darren Thomas
That is like a product of inevitability.
Darren Thomas went 10-0 and wasn't a Heisman finalist. He went 11-1 the next year, or 12-2. It wasn't a Heisman finalist. Herbert went 12-2, wasn't a Heisman finalist. So no, you don't have to be a Heisman finalist if your quarterback is playing well on a team that's winning. What I'm saying is that as of right now, until I see the guy go out there and produce, I'm not going to say that's going to happen. It's okay to believe it. But I'm just saying I see no evidence as of right now. That's a huge leap for me, but I'm not saying he's not going to do it, but I need to watch the kid play.
Saying that
you're saying it's possible.
That it is a reasonable outcome, that it's a reasonable possible outcome, that it doesn't even feel far-fetched to me.
So what are your concerns on offense? There's got to be something that worries you, because you kind of made everything,
Quarterback.
Okay, so you do.
Quarterback is what worries.
So you do agree there's a reason to worry. So you worry, but you think he's going to be on the Heisman stage.
No. I said what. One of these two kids will be a special quarterback. The problem is what it took to get to the second one. That could be the issue. You see what I'm saying? Is that if you end up with Austin Novosad starting, what had to happen? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I think is concerning, is that, and then the young wide receivers. That's it. I mean, that's honestly my biggest concern about this team.
I said all that, and then you poo-pooed me.
Because you put it in a different way. I had to smooth that thing out the way the listeners and the people could understand. Is that okay? I believe the floor for the Ducks is 10-2.
The floor?
I believe the floor is 10-2. Yes. Is okay. Hold up. I'll actually amend that. I actually believe the floor, the absolute rock bottom floor, is 9-3. Okay. However, their most likely ending record, I believe, is 11-1, but 10-2 is possible. So I would bet at 10. Like I would bet where the Vegas line has them is at 10 wins or 10.5 wins. I would take. Yeah, I would probably take the over.
Is the Vegas line 10 or is it 9.5? Is it 10?
Yeah, it's 10. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's 10.
Okay, so with all of those question marks, if we set the line at 9.5, we're setting it. Let's say at 9.5. I would probably go over and just cross my fingers. I just think there's too much uncertainty, and even last year, dude. Ohio State, they easily, coulda, woulda, shoulda. They easily could have lost that. They easily could have lost Wisconsin. And that was with a veteran-laden team of a bunch of proven guys and a sixth-year quarterback and a pretty loaded receiving core. So, and they that close to losing twice, not counting the Big Ten title game. So, to me, I just feel like there's too much uncertainty for me to go at 10. But if it's over 9.5, I'd bet over and just cross my fingers, but man, I just need to see more. That's the bottom line. Like I need to see Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, and then sort of from there make sort of an assessment. Penn State is actually the fifth game because they play Oregon State. So yeah, they'd be 5-0 after beating Penn State if they win that game. I would right now put them at a floor of 8 and a ceiling of 11 if everything goes well. But I'm going to say a floor of 8. I think 8's possible.
I don't see where 8 losses could possibly
Penn
come.
State, Iowa, and if they're struggling at quarterback, if it's undecided there, it's kind of a mess. USC, Washington are going to be dicey. That's floor. That's rock bottom. Everything goes
Washington, bad. Yes. I would go with Washington. Yes, they are going to smoke USC. That is going to be a smoke show. Okay.
All right, so I'm not saying they're going to go 8-4. I'm saying the absolute floor. This is if everything goes poorly, they're still going to win 8. So I will but I'm going to say I'm believing 10. I'm believing 10, but it could go 9 or 11. So I got everything covered.
Yes. So I picked. So in my preseason rankings, I went Penn State 1, Oregon 2, Ohio State 3, Illinois 4, Washington 5. Michigan 6, and I'm a lot higher on Washington than a lot of other people are. Okay. But they are going to FAFO and learn. Yes. I got Michigan at 6, Iowa at 7, and mind you, these are Big Ten records, not just their overall, because some of their non-conferences are poo-poo. Minnesota 8, UCLA 9, USC 10, Nebraska 11, Indiana 12, Michigan State 13, Rutgers 14, Wisconsin 15, Maryland 16, Northwestern 17, and Purdue 18. And people are like, how could you have USC at 10? Watch it. This is going to be a 8-4, 7-5 football team.
That'd be good for them, wouldn't it be? What were they last year? I forget what they were last year.
Hey, I think they were 7-5.
Yeah, shoot, they go get 8 wins. That's good for them. All right. Good work. Good work. I know you got to get rolling. We knocked out 2 episodes today. The defensive episode you can find on our OregonLive YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcast. This one, you obviously found it or you wouldn't be looking for it, but be sure to check both out. We're going to be back again shortly during the season. We're going to do twice a week for sure. We're going to review the game that just ended. Then on our next podcast, we're going to look ahead at the game that's coming up, plus talk about whatever news of the week came about. And hey, George, I'm looking forward to this, man. This is going to be fun, dude. You know, I think at some point we got to talk about our bet, but we're going to leave it for now. I'm going to let you marinate in it to decide if you want to, come out with that or not. Let people know what our bet was, because you're about to lose it.
Listen, I got no problem with it. You gonna be the one that ends up looking goofy at the end of this.
I'm going to send you my Venmo in November. Anyway, thanks for listening to the Ducks Confidential podcast. I'm Aaron Fentress. He's George Wrighster. We'll catch you later.